Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from across the shuck, and I'm back at you with another video. And this is a video I've been putting off for over a week now. In fact, this must be nearly 2 weeks since I've had the knife. And the reason is that this is a custom knife. Now, this is a very affordable custom knife, as custom knives go. Just sort of keep that. This is in around the 270 range, bought directly from the custom maker. Which I believe for a handmade knife is just fantastic. You know, a custom maker making from start to finish. And the nice thing about it is, you've seen in the title, it's a UK custom maker. The man lives in England and he's been making custom knives professionally for 15 years now. So, you know, it's not a newbie. It's just one, it's somebody that I'd heard of and had seen some of his knives, and some are more expensive than this. But none of his prices are exorbitant on an average custom build. So when I seen this though, this came up on one of my slip joint groups, and he had put a couple of these up, he'd made them and they were for sale. And I couldn't get the buttons pressed fast enough to get this knife because it's just stunning to me. I just think it's lovely. Really, the sort of knife that gives me the fizz, as that word goes. Uptight and jelly tight, is something like that. Is that what my friend says across there in America? Just love this knife. So I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to hold it all back. I've got this in my lovely MJ Hood's sheath. Please go and visit him. His sheaths are brilliant. This is made for a large Barlow, but it's a pinchable. It's hard leather. It's not. It is hard. It's firm. It holds its shape. That's probably the better way. You put the knife in and it's absolutely not going to fall out until you pinch the sides. I love that for this size of a knife. And let's just get on, talk about the size of this knife. The size of this knife is about 3 5/8. Perfect size for me. I love that size of a knife in a slip joint. It's just beautiful. First, before anything, this is what made me fall in love with it. Look at this. Look at this dyed bone. Come on. It's like a mocha colour with your dark browns here, but look at the way this bone, I'm not sure what this bone is, whether it's just cow shin bone or whatever it is. It has taken a dye. You look at it up here and like it's speckled the way it's taken, and down it's exactly the same all the way around. It has taken such an even speckle, and then this darker brown here is just, this is random jigging. It's done by hand. This is not machine jigging. And this is the one thing I like about a custom knife. You know, a good custom maker is going to make sure that both sides of your scales are going to look really appealing. Because there's nothing, well, it's not that there's nothing more. It's lovely to have a good side, but it's so nice when you have two good sides. It just completes the knife, and it means you're spending that extra money. This is the first start in spending the extra money and what you can expect to get. Because if I turn that over, look at that. And look at the way the bone has taken the dye. It's amazing how this bone, it's just stunning. They're not the same jigging. If you look at it, it's completely different jigging marks and pots, but it just complements each side. You know, it's like getting a bit of stag. One's really nice and the other's really plain. But this just complements a custom knife. I love the stainless steel bolsters and backspring and liners. It is just, look at the fit and finish on that. It is lovely, really perfect. It's been hafted so well. I like the way this comes up to the top of it. Really finishes it off. Doesn't let guns get up from this end if it's sitting in your pocket. It sort of, you know, the thickness of that back spring there. Centered, it's ever so slightly, but it's just ever so slightly off. Nothing that's ever going to just never even notice it from now on in. Do you know what I mean? Once I've done the review, because that's as good as it's going to get. I mean, it's just, you know, it's perfect. The retention is perfect. Look at that there. I just wanted to do that to get it to come down naturally, and that's the way it is. Slightly off. Look at the bolsters, the way they're cut across here. Look how beautifully symmetrical they are in thickness. Just the bolster here itself. Exactly the same height, exactly the same depth down here. The bone to the stainless steel is just beautifully done. Beautifully done. I just think, that is perfection. I love it. And then let's open her up. It's not the greatest of snaps that you would like to see. It's not like a Jack Wolf, but it doesn't need to be like a Jack Wolf, to be honest. Look at that blade. It's a little drop point blade. That's what I was going to call it a clip, but it's not. It's like a drop point, more than it is a clip point. There's no rise at the end there. I just think it is beautiful. This is hand rub satin. I know I've talked about it quite a lot, but this is my new thing, a hand satin blade I absolutely adore. But look how perfect it is. That's the custom side. That is the custom side. It is perfectly done. And the time that's spent to do this is worth every pound that it costs to get it. I love the nail nick up in here. And this is probably, it's a cam tang. Nice snap closed. It's probably about, I would say, 5.5. But it's strong enough for a little pocket knife. It really is. 5.5, maybe even 6, at that closing bit. Very, very beautifully done. I'm running out of superlatives to say about this knife. I really feel it. There's the man who made it, Shing Chan. He's from the UK. He started off life as a little boy. He used to make knives out of wood, sit and carve and make knives out of wood. That was his little hobby, and it grew on to where he started making. I think he made sort of some rustic knives on its way. But then he went to university, went on to have a great employment, especially with the National Health Service over here. And he was into computers, I think, more than anything else. But then he got made redundant, and he just didn't know what he wanted to do. And then he decided, you know what, I'm going to give this knife making a go. And by then he had improved his, as a part-time knife maker, he'd improved his standard. But he went full-time, and he's been going for 15 years now and making a living on it, feeding his family. That is stupendous. Huge risk, because the amount of people who probably fail at doing that is astronomical, I would say. But he hasn't. He has made a job of it. And to be honest, I look over his back catalogue, and he makes such a wide range of knives, honestly, and different shapes. He's not afraid to put a different shape in there, different handle, different blade. He's on our podcast on Thursday, and that's why I'm not going to go into any great depth on this knife now today. But you're going to meet the maker who made this. It's a recent make as well, I would say, because I only bought it a couple of weeks ago off my slip joint group. But that is probably the nicest set of jigged bone handles I have. It's very, very good. There's another one that comes sort of kind of close to it. That's this one. And I have this thing for jigged handles. I love a jigged bone. But look at that. I mean, that is so beautifully made. The correct thickness for a small knife. The tip is thin, but it is robust enough for what a knife of this size is going to do. Everything about it is just, in hand, it's just gorgeous. And let me just show you the blade length. Obviously, I'm in the UK, and I'm sure Shing sells everywhere. So it's just over 2 3/4 from hilt to tip. So that it's perfect for UK. It's just a perfect carry. Loving it. So I was trying to think of knives that would match this, that looks good, that's in my collection, that I'm drawn to. Here's the perfect one. The little sodbuster. The case sodbuster. In size, let me just put these two together. Look at this. The handle shape. Look at the handle shape, how close it is. Look at the blade shape, how close it is. It is just like a bolstered sodbuster. It is just so close to that shape. Not exactly the same, obviously, But just such you know how good that knife is. I mean, that knife is just an all-round, just fantastic EDC knife. And so is this. Now, this comes in cases CV. Guess what's in this one? If you haven't already seen the hints I've given throughout the weeks in the channel. This is in Magna Cut. So not only does this man, you know, he's not afraid to use different designs. This is a very plain design, which I love. But he's also not afraid to get the most newest steel and let people have a look at it. Let's see what it's like. And it's custom height heat treated. So I take it it's going to be a very good standard. I don't know what it is, but it's the sort of thing we can ask him when he's on the podcast tomorrow night. I just think it is amazing. I am totally down with it. It's a keeper for sure. Absolutely. But what I've also noticed is I seem to like this shape where it's thin here and it swells out to the end. And it's funny, I was talking on a podcast night about Joe Messer HQ, and I also love this. And recently I've been buying a lot of knives with this exact sort of shape. Well, not exact, but this shape in my hand. When a knife goes into my hand, this is the most comfortable I feel that I've got out there. Even in a smaller knife. There's my Moki I just done the video on. You take a look at that shape of that Moki and put it, it's like the shape itself now is very much the same. It's a little drop point. It's got that curve down to the back, and even in a smaller knife, it's thinner here, thicker here. So I get great, my little finger gets to wrap around that really comfortably. And it's just a 3.5 finger knife, but it just shows you this is what, and I thought, is this a pattern of what I'm buying? And it is. Well, maybe not what I'm buying. This is another one that I got this month. And this is the Jack Wolf Knives Mini Cyborg. Again, look at this. Now, I know there's some angles that are different here, but it is that shape. It is that curved at the bottom. A little. Now, this one isn't so much thicker down here, although I think it is a little bit. But it's that shape that I'm really drawn to at the minute. It's really strange how you go through different little patterns that appeal to you. But these have all got that shape. Another one that's got that shape, but it's not exactly the same. And that's the thing when you've got knives. They can be close, but not exactly. Is this one where I showed the jigging on this, which is just gorgeous. It's a deeper, heavier jigging than this, but it's a bigger blade. But look at that shape again. You have that shape. Different blade shape now, but look at that shape. And I'm just going to hold it up again because it's so important that it is in that type of shape that this is in. Although this is a bigger, heavier knife, but it is bigger. The shape is just gorgeous. And I seem to be drawn to it, this, whether it's just this couple of months or, you know, I'll have to go through some more of my knives even. It was just today I thought, my God, the last few knives that I've got or I've had have been that shape. And I'm loving it. And this is just, and I didn't notice this at all when I was buying it. It was just the clean aesthetic of it, the bone handles. When I seen the both sides of them, I was gone. That's what really led me in, that aesthetic look. But as a knife, it is absolutely fantastic. Great knife for using because you've got that, the stainlessness of the Magna Cut blade, that you'll get longevity of the edge, yes. And it's, you know, it's a tough enough steel. It's just an all-round great EDC steel, but yet it's the very sort of top end of what people want at the minute. You know, as an edge retention, it is by no means up there with the best of them, but it is up there. Do you know what I mean? And it's a great steel. I've had it on a couple of knives now. Really enjoying it to use. I don't blunt it in a day anyway, so does it matter? Yeah, it's just nice to have. It wasn't a swaying factor in buying the knife whatsoever. It was very secondary. If it had been N690 or whatever on there, that some of the 154 cm, I'd have still bought the knife. But it is nice to have it on there. And all steels are kind of like that if you can sharpen. It doesn't matter what they are. Yes, it's nice to have them. Try them, see what you think of them, because you're putting yourself up against other reviewers as well, which is great. So there you go. All a lorry I'll waffle over this fantastic knife. And I haven't gone into detail because I'd like our guest tomorrow night to go into a bit of detail about this knife, where his sort of his thoughts were when he was making it, what he was making it for. I mean, it's obviously just to me, it's the perfect EDC knife, absolutely perfect. And I would have no problem carrying this and light using it. Why am I saying light using? Because it's blimmin' expensive. When I can have this and I can have a sodbuster for what, £70. This is 270. Carrying this in my pocket is the perfect tool to use, you know, if any dirty jobs come up, because I can replace that. Although this is from Gizmo, so it'd be very hard to replace. But I can use this for every other thing that's just light duty cutting, and I want to get out and want to show a knife or whatever. But this is nonetheless a pretty knife. It is a lovely knife. Case do their jigging well, as you know, and their bone dyeing is fantastic. So it sort of just goes to show you that you can take two knives out that are virtually the same as a cutting edge, and one can be the beater, one can be the show off. So there you go. Paddy's away. I hope you enjoyed this. Shing, I'm really looking forward to you coming on Thursday. Just can't wait to hear your story and a wee bit. Let people hear how you started, why you started, and where you see yourself going in the future. That's the nice bit. And I'm hoping that, you know, we're going to see more of him. Well, I'm hoping I'm going to see more of him. I have seen his knives out and about for years, but I'm now in a position where I can sort of buy them, and that makes a huge difference. So there you go. I'm away. I've waffled long enough. I hope you like this knife. I think it is gorgeous. And I'm Shing, again, I'm just going to repeat myself, but can't wait to see you tomorrow night, 7:30 on the channel. Myself and Justin, we're just going to have our usual free and easy chat with a custom knife maker from the UK. So for you American boys, this is a treat. For you the rest of the world, this is a treat. For the UK, keep your eyes on this fella. If you've missed him up to now like me, keep your eyes on him. He makes some exceptional quality knives. Bye now.